On this edition of NFL Game Pass Film Session, Brian Baldinger travels to Seattle to break down the Seahawks' famed scramble drill with wide receiver Doug Baldwin.
I see him moving around. I see him in distress.
Football player.
And just, again, backyard football. When you have that type of connection, that type of relationship, it's easy for when you have that split-second reaction where you connect eyes. You know, now he feels comfortable enough to deliver the ball.
That play was made by Russell Wilson, who scrambled and finally found Doug Baldwin for 51 yards.
The two-time Pro Bowler will also take us inside one of the most clutch catches of his career.
It was a must-have. Third down, crucial situation, when playoff game, wild card game, you got to get this catch.
That was awesome. Superstars have to make plays in the playoffs.
Hey, that's a hell of a catch, boy. Appreciate you, boy.
And we'll find out which NBA Hall of Famer inspired Baldwin's killer crossover.
And when I cross over, it's just literally like I have the ball in my hand. I'm crossing back over this way.
Nobody can cover Doug Baldwin. Nobody can cover him if he wants to get open.
How'd you get so open?
Because I'm a beast, that's why.
That's true.
Welcome to the film session. We're in your facility here, in your auditorium, which is basically your home away from home.
It is, absolutely.
How much time you spend in this film room?
Too much time.
Too much time?
My wife would say too much time.
Too much time?
Yeah.
Lowest drop rate in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Pride myself on that.
So, have you always had great hands?
No, actually. I've always been a mediocre catcher for a while. In high school and in college, I had a lot of problems in college with dropping passes. Most of it for me was the mental aspect of it. I had to create this mental highlight reel of me catching a football in a number of different positions. So when I got in the game, it was like I had already done it.
Your visualization was as important at improving your hands as anything else you do physically.
Absolutely.
Well, you talked about a highlight reel. Let's get into some of these plays here.
Let's do it.
So the first section here, Doug, I want to get into some route running.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is we're going to show some plays where you beat good corners in this business. That's a good corner. It looks like he's got some inside leverage on you. You're going to give him a shake. When you stab Janoris up here like this, do you also see his hips open to respect it right there?
I do. The skip that you're talking about,
Yeah.
all I'm doing is just gathering information. I know why he's playing me inside is because he's on an island. He's by himself. So he wants to use the sideline to his help.
Janoris is going to open up his hips right there, and that's all you need to get past him, right?
Yep. In my mind, if I handle what I need to handle at the line of scrimmage, I'm going to get the separation I need. Now it's all up to me to get to the spot on the field where I need to get to.
When Doug Baldwin came out of Stanford as an undrafted player, he wasn't big enough, he wasn't fast enough. But what he has a unique one-step quickness. If I could relate it to a basketball player, it would be Allen Iverson and his crossover move.
My coaches won't like hearing this, but I'm a basketball player.
I figured you were.
I
figured you were.
Basketball is
like?
my first love. My absolute favorite of all time is Allen Iverson.
Okay, well, it's Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson was one of those guys who just, he could manipulate his body into making you think he was going one way and actually going the other way. And it was a thing of beauty to me. It was art. And so I wanted to translate that into football. I call myself a cross-sport pollinated athlete. I like to use basketball moves in football.
Terminology.
Right.
But it's a crossover. It's a nice crossover.
That's all it is. That's really all it is, except obviously I don't have the ball.
You've got this catch. It's great. You got your concentration. But even when you go to the ground right here, it's the same thing. It's like you're rolling and you're shoulder rolling and you're protecting the ball and not giving anything to chance that ball can come loose.
Right. I'm overly sensitive and overly conscious about protecting the ball, right? You know, some people would call me a possession receiver, and I would agree with that. I'm more about possession than anything else, and I want to make sure I'm securing the catch.
So labels, Doug, like they say you're a slot receiver, you're a possession receiver. Do they bother you?
If I took it back probably 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would say, yeah, it bothered me.
Okay.
You know, just because that was the perception, that was the way that I felt like that's just the narrative of the NFL.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be a certain type of guy, you had to be labeled a certain type of guy. But now, just with maturity, with growth, with understanding who I am, knowing who I am as a man, what I value in life, those things don't matter to me. As long as I can help my team win, you know, you can label me whatever you want to.
Let's get to this next play here. That's Patrick Peterson on you. He's got you outside, and he's not in bad shape at all.
So this goes back to a lot of the film study, a lot of the just knowing Patrick Peterson. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to go against such a great cornerback for a number of years now. And I knew that whenever I get in this situation, he knows that the field is cut, so it's gonna be hard for me to go inside. So he's gonna play his outside leverage, and he's gonna try to jam me back inside. But I also know that Patrick Peterson is a cerebral player.
He's got his own head games.
Right. And so in this situation, again, I'm just really trying to get information. And so I have to establish outside dominance here. He knows where I'm going. I know where he's going. Now it's just a battle of wits. And Patrick Peterson is a superb athlete. He's faster than me. He's stronger than me. He's not quick. He's not quicker than me. I won't give him that.
Okay.
But yeah, he's faster than me. He's stronger than me.
You can take him off the dribble.
Of course. And he's bigger than me. The difference here is that I know that his strengths can also be his weakness. And so I'm kind of giving him the leverage in terms of being in front, playing in front, and making him feel like he's got me in control. I know he wants to put his hands on me. So when he does, I'm giving it to him, allowing the space to happen. So when he pushes me, he's actually giving me separation. And by kind of lulling him to sleep in that regard, then I'm able to push off. You know, referees don't want to hear that, but push off in the sense where I can generate some separation and still be able to catch the ball.
Doug Baldwin got the one-on-one, and they took advantage.
Patrick Peterson, the Pro Bowler, on coverage there. Nobody can cover Doug Baldwin. Nobody can cover him if he wants to get open.
It never seems like you ever celebrate. In fact, your teammates seem to celebrate it more than you ever do.
They do, and they give me a hard time about not celebrating more. But that's the type of competitor I am. I expect to win, and I know that might sound arrogant, that might sound cocky, but that's genuinely how I feel innately, just in my body. Like I expect to win.
Russell has time, got a man open, throws downfield, and Baldwin 10, 5, touchdown, Seahawks!
Watch Baldwin. Look at how he got through Josh Norman. That was one of the better moves at the line of scrimmage you're going to get against one of the better corners in the league.
Norman here is going to try and really jab you off the line of scrimmage. Do you know what's going to happen, what he's going to do to you right here? Do you have an idea what he's going to do right here?
I do, but it all plays out in the play, right? Obviously, again, I'm taking in information from before we're on the field, you know, the week prior when we're studying the film and getting the scouting report to up to this point where he's starting to come up in my face. Just knowing Josh Norman, he plays on the right side of the offense. When he ever tries to put his hands on you, if he does his one-hand jab, he's always going to lead with the left. He's going to jab with the left so that he has safety help. That's just what he does.
Hey, come on, man!
Now, the difference is now he's in the slot with me.
Yeah.
And that's my playground. That's where I like to get down. He's starting to inch forward, and I'm feeling, and really all it is, I'm reading body language, right? I'm reading his body language, his mannerisms, and when I'm watching film, I'll just watch how guys walk on the field, what kind of man they are, and it tells me a lot about them, and in this situation, I know Josh Norman is confident enough in his ability that he's gonna try to do this. So it looks like I'm looking at the ball.
Yeah.
Really, I'm looking at him. And so when he starts to lean, I already know what I'm gonna do.
You have to avoid the punch.
Right.
On that move, your Allen Iverson crossover here, his feet are frozen. It's like AI beating Michael Jordan.
Right. And I'm not the biggest receiver in the world. I know my strength. So I'm gonna use my strengths to get open.
I wanna see your AI step right here. Man, I wanna see just how nasty that crossover is. So give us an idea about, does it depend on how close the corner is to you, what you're gonna do?
So depending on what the route is, right,
Okay.
obviously, I gotta figure out which side I'm gonna try to attack you at.
Okay.
And so when I'm doing this, when I'm doing the skip, I'm just gathering information. So let's say I'm trying to go outside.
Okay.
So I'll come off and I'll kind of lean to the inside so that way you kind of open your hips that way. And when I cross over, it's just literally like I have the ball in my hand, I'm crossing back over this way. All it is body language and mannerisms, right?
Yeah.
So I'm reading you. And essentially it's just that chess match that you're playing with somebody.
He makes it like he's going to run an inside move, and he just breaks to the outside, and Russell hits him right on the money.
It was too easy. Did you see the technique, though? Yeah. He was outside, so I just stuck him inside and then left.
Are you always going opposite
Not always.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes there's a play against the Colts where I went the same side and then went outside.
You've got the great Doug Baldwin. Look at that move on Vontae Davis. Round 1 to Baldwin.
And sometimes it's even best that they do open up to that way. So if let's say I'm trying to go inside.
Yeah.
And I'll go inside sometimes, and I'll keep them there because they know that the crossover might be coming.
Right.
And so I'll give like I'm going to crossover and then go back.
Then you really get the separation.
Right.
Champ Bailey that time against Doug Baldwin, he made a nice stutter step at the line of scrimmage, went up the sideline on a wheel route, and Russell put great air on the football.
You don't know what you're going to do until he reacts.
Right. Well, for the most part.
Okay.
I will come to the line of scrimmage with a toolbox in mind of what I'm going to use, right? So, with Patrick Peterson, it's something that I've already brought to the table that I know in this situation, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this, or I'm going to use this. And every year I go back, so I put them in this portfolio.
Yep.
So I have a 2016, 2017, I'll have a 2018, right? And in those portfolios, it'll have a breakdown of each defensive back, what their technique was, what they used. And so now I can go back if, let's say Patrick Peterson switches up the hand that he uses, I can see that, And so now I'm like, okay, he has...
Because these guys are evolving too.
Absolutely.
You're from the Gulf Coast of Florida.
I am.
You went to Stanford. You play in Seattle. It typically doesn't get 20 below zero.
It is a brutally cold day. We expect kickoff about -7 degrees with a wind chill of down near -20.
Dear Lord, why did you have to make it so cold? Whew. Hey, boy, it's cold. My hand's frozen.
Your hands are, if you're numb, like you can't feel the ball, like.
This is probably my most proud moment in terms of mental strength. And just knowing before the game, so we're out there warming up, and I'm thinking to myself, how am I supposed to play in this?
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody say, boy, it's cold.
For me, it was like I really had to lock in on my awareness as a human being in this moment, in this environment, to know what I'm capable of and pushing my body to its limits.
Be patient, keep the guy steady, you're a leader. 3rd down and 10. 4-man rush, pressure put on, and a one-handed grab by Doug Baldwin.
That was awesome. Watch this catch. On 3rd down and 10, you don't know if you're going to get drilled in the back. You don't know what's going to happen. He comes down and keeps that drive alive. Superstars have to make plays in the playoffs.
There are 2 deep men under here. You got Captain Munderland on you. And the middle opens up, and you react. If you freeze it right there, like, does somebody have that picture of you in a frame right there, Doug? That's a pretty good looking shot.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It's somewhere.
You're Mike in this game, and you really don't have much of a reaction after you make this catch. Like, you don't celebrate this catch, you don't stick it to the bite, you're not doing anything. But that's an unbelievable catch on a day where I don't even know if you can feel your fingers right here.
It was a must-have. 3rd down, crucial situation. We're in the playoff game, wild card game. You got to get this catch. This is just one of those situations where, our quarterback is getting pressured. He's got to make a decision. He trusts me to go up and get the ball.
Hey, that's a hell of a catch, boy. Appreciate you, boy. What you about to tell him? Don't worry about it.
Everybody has a scramble drill. Everybody practices a scramble drill. You've done it at every level probably you've ever played. But you have a unique quarterback. He's a magician back there some days.
Wilson looking, still looking. Kind of scrambling, still looking. Throw it away. Fires far side. Got Baldwin. Touchdown! Seahawks!
There's nobody in the league better at improvising and making plays like this. Great job by Russell, keeping his eyes down the football field as he always does.
There's a scramble. They're not keeping up with me back there. So after the initial thing, keep being violent. We'll figure it out, Keep working for it. Keep working for it. Let's go. Big plays there. There are big plays there. Come on.
That play was made by Russell Wilson, who scrambled and finally found Doug Baldwin for 51 yards.
The good thing about him is that when he scrambles, he's still looking down the field to make the throw.
Keeps his eyes down the field.
Right. And as a receiver, just not coming from a situation where I've had to do it as often, you kind of get frustrated, right? You're open or other guys are open, and you're like, just deliver the ball. But, of course, I'm not dealing with these monsters in the front of the defensive line coming after me either. So instead of getting frustrated, I was like, okay, how can I help us be successful in this?
Okay.
You know, you're going to see situations here when plays break down or when we don't get the coverage that we expect, but we're still able to make a play because of the uniqueness of the quarterback we have.
You got the Houston Texans here. It's 3rd and 3.
In this situation, we know it's zone. I'm guessing, more than likely, the Mike linebacker is going to go towards speed. And so I know that there's going to be a void in that area.
You're reading all that on the move.
Right. Well, it's just something that we've practiced so often that I know exactly what's going to happen.
All right.
So it's not that I have to read this. Of course, I am reading it. I'm trying to figure out who's going where and where the hole's going to be.
Russell steps up, breaks one tackle. Now fires, reaching back and making the catch at the 45-yard line. And what a catch it is by Doug Baldwin.
At the same time, you make sure that you've got eye contact with Russell all the time. I mean, Russell, he had Clowney wrapped around him right here, so he's just trying to get free. You're going to make sure that you're looking right at him right here.
I want to make sure that he knows that I see him. It gives him a sense of confidence knowing that, hey, I am ready for the ball and I'm open for you when you need me. When you have that type of connection, that type of relationship, it's easy for when you have that split-second reaction where you connect eyes, you know, now he feels comfortable enough to deliver the ball.
This last one here, Doug, they're going to motion you here to pass protect.
Because how the defense is covering out here, he's got to get out of the pocket to try to make a play. Strange enough, I'm not supposed to be in the progression, but I see him moving around. I see him in distress.
You're a football player.
And just, again, backyard football.
Making it up. Cue the circus music. Wilson throwing for Baldwin. Oh, my goodness, he caught it. And there goes Baldwin down the sideline. Baldwin out of bounds inside the 5.
Doug Baldwin was blocking on that play. He was in no way, shape, or form supposed to be on a route. And Russell Wilson does the whole Russell Wilson thing. I'll tell you, Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin, they just live inside each other's mind.
This is a jump ball, right? I mean, basketball reference, right? This is strictly jump ball.
I'm trying to anticipate where he's going to be, how to get position, not just to make the catch, but to make sure he doesn't catch it.
I think it's interesting at the end of this play here. We see a lot of guys go for the touchdown and get that ball knocked out right at the pylon. You thought about it.
I did.
You thought about it, right?
I did.
And then you thought, man, I don't think I can get there.
It's funny you mentioned that because all of those thoughts are going on my head as I'm running, right? Okay, what's going to happen when I get to this pylon? The most vivid imagery that I have is Earl Thomas. When guys were reaching out for it, he'd hack at it and knock it out.
Here's the pitch. Gurley running left. 15 gets a block 10. Cuts it outside 5. Todd Gurley reaching for the pylon. Touchdown, Todd Gurley.
They may have to review this. It looks as if Todd may have fumbled the ball out of bounds.
It was Earl Thomas who jarred the football loose.
So when I'm getting to this pylon and I'm thinking about it, but then I see Buda Baker on his high horse getting there, you know, I want to make sure that doesn't happen to me.
Doug, we've watched a lot of film, man. It's been great. We've learned a lot here. We've seen you up against some elite corners in this league. We've seen you against Patrick Peterson and Janoris and Josh Norman in your division this year. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
So you've been competing with and against Richard Sherman all your years at Stanford, all your years here, and now he's in San Francisco. So he knows you, you know him.
Yep.
Is there anything new that you can show him?
Oh, man. I never anticipated playing against him. You know, so all of my tricks, everything that I've learned, everything that I've tried to adapt to the game.
You've probably given it up to him.
I have, and I've consulted with him.
If I see you setting up to push off, I'm gonna grab it. You grab it. If I see you setting up to push off, I'm gonna grab that arm and I'm gonna say, come here. Cause you know what they ain't gonna call? Grabbing skin.
He's one of the greatest to ever do it, you know, and so this year is gonna be fun for me in the regard that it's a challenge of having to come up with something new. He knows I'm gonna be watching him the entire year.
Yeah.
You know, every tendency, every little thing that he gives away, I'm gonna be picking up on it. I know he's got his tricks up his sleeve, but that's what makes the game fun.
If you're gonna believe it,
gotta achieve.
let's see.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Thanks for sharing the knowledge here today, man.
Thanks for having me.
It was a real pleasure, man.
Yes, sir.
Doug Baldwin in the film sessions.